I think another good example of this is things like the ancient aliens theory, where uh, it's not really it's not really, like a Pat Roberts Christian, Richard Dawkins atheist kind of thing. It's kind of this weird branch off where they say, like, well, all the legends were true, but they were uh, it wasn't gods or elves or something like that. It was aliens, and to have like sort of this pseudo or edgy uh, scientific explanation for it. And I mean, the idea that George Lucas has these kinds of ideas, it doesn't seem that weird when you look at the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull movie, where they get to the end and it was aliens, uh, of course, ancient aliens, and even I would, citing his friendship with Steven Spielberg, I wouldn't be surprised if George Lucas believed in alien abductions or UFOs or things like that. I mean, if you see old, Spielberg, I mean, he's said in interviews now where he doesn't really believe in those kind of things anymore. But if you look at interviews where he had back in the 70s, he seemed like a genuine believer in a lot of these sort of pseudoscience or edgy science kind of ideas. But this is also kind of a tie-in to, people say like, well, why did he make Anakin a kid in the first movie? And well, I think one of the reasons is George Lucas kind of wanted to show he could work with kids, because I mean, Spielberg is always getting high marks for being able to work with kids so well, so he kind of wanted to do that. But at the same time, I think the main reason was, he wanted to say that Anakin Skywalker was a virgin birth. He wanted to put that in there. And it's kind of weird to, if you have a full-grown man, it's kind of weird to talk about the origins of his birth or his family or something like that. But you have him a kid, of course the kid, he's going to be living with his mother, and you ask the mother, well, where's the father? And she says, well, there was no father, and that leads into that. So I think, that's the main reason he made Anakin a kid in the first movie. But still, overall, even though I can have all these um, thoughts about the movies, I go back to them and I watch them and I just can't get into them. I just can't see the appeal, and it's weird. It's so weird. I was so excited when the first one came out, and I think I don't, I saw it like at least opening weekend. I don't know, opening day, and I was just so excited, and I wasn't, and I still kind of maybe thinking the next movie would be better after that one, but still, I didn't go see it opening weekend. I think I waited a couple weeks and I saw that, and then the Revenge of the Sith. When the Revenge of the Sith came out, I never even saw it in movie theaters. I actually worked at a movie theater, and where it was showing, and I could have seen it for free if I wanted to, and I still didn't see it in the movie theaters. I don't think I saw it until like 4 or 5 years after it was made, and that was on television, and there was nothing else on. That's how disinterested I got in the Star Wars prequels. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's one of the, I think it's just one of the weirdest stories in all of Hollywood. How how people could be that disappointed in a movie. It's 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 one for the history books. Yeah, and there was a time where I was like, maybe the prequels aren't as bad as I thought they were, and maybe I went back and watched them, and they're still pretty bad. And sometimes I like to say, I like to say, well, if they weren't called Star Wars, I could still appreciate them as sort of as sort of uh, a standalone, really weird science fiction movie, and probably say, well, it's a little better than Battlefield Earth, but not quite as good as Ice Pirates. But at the same time, just that Star Wars title and all the Star Wars um, language and props in it, it makes me it still puts it in a special place of just not liking it, and it's in the words of Anakin Skywalker, I wish I could wish them away.